At that time, Eliminate Obstructions Bodhisattva asked the Buddha again, Bhagavan, did that Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva come to join this congregation after saving those living beings from sufferings? The Buddha told Eliminate Obstructions Bodhisattva, virtuous man, having left from the great Avicii hell, that Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva had then entered into the big city of hungry ghosts. Inside that city there were innumerable hundreds of thousands of hungry ghosts, with fire flames spurting out of their mouths. Their faces were withered, and their bodies were scraggy. Their hair was unkempt, and their body hair was all sticking up. Their stomachs were as large as a mountain, and their throats were as thin as a needle. When Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva reached that big city of hungry ghosts, all the flaming karma fire in the city suddenly quenched, and the city became refreshingly cool. At that time, a ghost general who was guarding the city's gate, with a huge body and 2 deep red eyes, and a hot iron club holding in his hand, aroused a merciful mind. From now on, I cannot guard this evil karma place. At that time, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva aroused the great compassionate heart. He issued forth rivers from each of his 10 fingertips, issued forth rivers from each of his toes, and issued forth big rivers from every pore on his body. The hungry ghosts then drank the water of the rivers. Having drunk the water, their throats became larger, and their bodies and appearances became perfect. Subsequently, they gained various delicious drinks and foods. Then all of them ate their fill. Having gained these benefits and comforts, each of those hungry ghosts thought carefully, why can people in South Jambudvipa often have refreshing, cool peace and happiness? Oh, in that place there are virtuous persons who constantly respect, carry out filial piety, and sustain their parents. There are virtuous persons who are generous in giving and respectfully practice the teaching of good, knowing advisors. There are wise and knowledgeable persons who constantly enjoy Mahayana. There are virtuous persons who can practice the Noble Eightfold Path. There are virtuous persons who can knock dharma drums. There are virtuous persons who can repair the damaged monasteries. There are virtuous persons who can repair the damaged temples. There are virtuous persons who can offer, sustain, and respect dharma masters. There are virtuous persons who can see the path of Tathagatas. There are virtuous persons who can see the path of bodhisattvas. There are virtuous persons who can see the path of Pratyeka Buddhas. There are virtuous persons who can see the path of Arhats. They thought, in South Jambudvipa there are so many cultivating events. At that time, from this Mahayana Sublime Treasure King Sutra, a delicate and wonderful sound uttered naturally. After those hungry ghosts had heard this sound, although the view of a self in the body that they were attaching to was as huge as a mountain, that body view, together with their myriad of afflictions, were completely destroyed by the Vajra wisdom pestle. Thereupon all of them were reborn in utmost bliss world and became bodhisattvas with the same name, discretionary mouth. When Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva had saved those sufferings, he then went to the worlds of other directions to save sentient beings and ferry them to the liberation. At that time, Eliminate Obstructions Bodhisattva asked the Buddha again, Bhagavat, does Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva come to this world to save and ferry sentient beings? The Bhagavat said, Virtuous man, the Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva is always saving and ferrying immeasurable hundreds of thousands of kotis of nayutas of sentient beings, and never rests. His great majestic powers surpass the Tathagatas. Eliminate Obstructions Bodhisattva asked, Bhagavat, Why does Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva have such great majestic powers? The Buddha said, Virtuous man, in the past kalpas there was a Buddha who appeared in the world, whose name is Vipassin, thus come one worthy of offerings, one of proper and pervasive knowledge, one perfect in clarity and practice, well gone one, knower of the secular world, unsurpassed one, taming and subduing hero, teacher of gods and humans, Buddha, world-honored one. At that time, I was a son named Wonderful Fragrance Mouth of a magnate's family. From that Buddha I had heard about the mighty sacrosanct power, merits, and virtues of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. Eliminate obstructions Bodhisattva then said, Bhagavat, what were the mighty sacrosanct power, merits, and virtues of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva that you had heard about? The Bhagavat said, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva gave birth to the sun and the moon from his eyes, gave birth to the great unrestricted God Mahasvara from his forehead, gave birth to the Brahma heaven God from his shoulder, gave birth to Narayana from his heart, gave birth to the great eloquence God Sarasvati from his teeth, gave birth to the God of wind from his mouth, gave birth to the God of earth from his navel, and gave birth to the God of water from his stomach. Having given birth to all those gods from his body, Avalokitesvara said to the great unrestricted God, At the Dharma ending age in the future, in the realms of sentient beings, there will be some living beings attaching to erroneous views, saying that you are the great dominator from the beginningless of time and can create all sentient beings. At that time, those living beings who have lost the way of Bodhi are ignorant and perplexed. They will say that the universe is a vast body, and the earth is his throne. All realms and sentient beings were born from this body. Virtuous man, after I had heard about that from Vipassin Tathagata, later there was another Buddha appeared in the world, whose name is Sikhin, thus come one worthy of offerings, one of proper and pervasive knowledge, one perfect in clarity and practice, well gone one, knower of the secular world, unsurpassed one, taming and subduing hero, teacher of gods and humans, Buddha, world-honored one. Eliminate obstructions Bodhisattva. At that time, I was fearless bestowing Bodhisattva Mahasattva. From that Buddha, I had also heard about the mighty sacrosanct power, merits, and virtues of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. Eliminate obstructions Bodhisattva said, Bhagavat, what were the mighty sacrosanct powers, merits, and virtues of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva that you had heard about? The Buddha said, At that time, in a congregation of Sikhin Tathagata, all gods, dragons, yaksas, asuras, garudas, mahoragas, human and non-human beings had assembled. When the Bhagavat was about to speak Dharma in the congregation, he emitted myriads of multicolored light, including green light, yellow light, orange light, white light, red light, sphatica-colored light, golden light. The light universally illuminated all the worlds of the 10 directions, and then returned, circumambulated the Buddha 3 times, and went into his mouth. At that time, a Bodhisattva Mahasattva in the congregation, whose name is Ratapani, or treasure hand, arose from his seat, uncovered his right shoulder, placed his right knee on the ground, joined his palms respectfully, and said to the Bhagavat, For what cause and relationship did this holy scene appear? That Buddha said, Virtuous man, in utmost bliss world there is a Bodhisattva Mahasattva named Avalokitesvara. He is about to come here, so I manifested this holy scene. When Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva was about to come, Myriads of kalputaru trees, flower trees, gamuda flower trees, and kapaka flower trees appeared. Furthermore, varied flowers, precious pools, and trees also appeared. The sky rained down wonderful flowers, various jewels, manis, pearls, emeralds, spiral shells, jades, corals, and many other treasures. A lot of heavenly clothes were also rained down like masses of cloud. At that time, in the Jeta Grove of Anathapindika Garden, the 7 treasures also appeared. Their names are Gold Wheel Treasure, Elephant Treasure, Horse Treasure, Pearl Treasure, Goddess Treasure, Repository Mastering Treasure, Army Mastering Treasure. When those 7 treasures appeared, the ground became completely golden. And when Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva was departing from the utmost bliss world, the ground was shaking in 6 different ways. Radhapani Bodhisattva Mahasattva then asked the Bhagavat again, "For what cause and relationship did this holy scene appear?" That Buddha said, "Virtuous man, the Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva is coming here, so this holy scene appeared." At that time, the sky also rained down comfortable, wonderful flowers and wonderful lotuses. Then Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva arrived with a golden, brilliant, 1,000-petal lotus holding in his hand. He bowed at the feet of that Buddha, offered up the lotus to that Bhagavat, and said, "Amitayus Buddha told me to come with this lotus." The Bhagavat then accepted the lotus and placed it on the left side. The Buddha said to Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva, "Why do you now manifest such sacrosanct power, sublime merits, and virtues?" Avalokitesvara said, "I do it for saving and ferrying all the sentient beings from the evil destinies, including the hungry ghost realms, the Avicii hell, the black rope hell, the hell of the repetition of painful life, the burning hell, the roasting hell, the cauldron hell, the icy water hell, etc. For all the living beings in those great hells, I will save all of them and pull them up from the evil destinies and make them achieve Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi." When Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva finished saying that, he bowed at the feet of the Buddha and then suddenly disappeared like a flame vanishing into space.